The first time the world died, it was fast. Infection, panic, silence. The second time, it was slower. It learned. It adapted. The Black Fever wasn't the apocalypse. It was the rehearsal. By the time the Blood Plague arrived, humanity wasn't fighting to live anymore. It was fighting not to rot. And in this world, rot always wins. Today we're discussing why due to be screwed in State of Decay's Blood Plague Apocalypse. Before we get into the video though, I just want to take this time to thank everyone for the interactions on my previous video. I really appreciate the fact that you guys got my video to 1,000 views in only 3 days. And at the time of this recording, my video is at 10K views. Seeing you guys express your opinions and converse with each other makes me very happy. Seeing people say they love my voice, my channel, my thoughts, it just makes me feel like I'm on a cloud and all of my worries are gone. I am going to do my absolute best at producing content that's worthy enough for all of you. And just so you guys are aware, because I'm already getting comments about it, some of my older content doesn't have the same sound as my more recent videos. Some might be too quiet. My first couple of videos I ever posted might sound like I'm using a trash bucket for a mic. But we don't have those issues anymore, so just be mindful of that. Anyways, let's get back to it. In the lovely land of Trumbull Valley, we are introduced to a bacteria called the Black Fever. We really don't know much about it, where it came from, or if it was made in a lab. But what we do know is that the spread was caused by the military dumping dead, infected bodies into the Trumbull Reservoir. Why? Why would you be so dumb? And that water didn't stay there. It flowed outward into rivers, cities, bottled water, so on and so on. Within weeks, millions of people were infected without ever knowing it. In the first game, there was really no cure. The best you could do was just manage the symptoms. If you had an infirmary and a trained doctor, your odds went up slightly. But once the fever hit a certain point, that was it. So in the case of us actually being real, those who don't receive the proper treatment within a vast time period will fall to the infection and reanimate within seconds. Those who fall to the Black Fever don't stay pretty for long. Their skin turns a pale green or brownish color, their eyes glow faintly, and their hunger never ends. These are the basic infected. Some stumble, some may sprint, and you might even find some wearing armor. Individually, they're manageable, but in numbers, they're an avalanche of decay. Occasionally, some of them will even scream, calling every zombie nearby straight to you. So unless you can fight off 20 infected people who now don't get tired, who now feel no pain, and only die from a clean headshot, this is already strike one against your survival. Next up are the bloaters, giant gas-filled sacks of rot. They waddle toward you like undead parade balloons until they're close enough to pop. And when they do, it's horrible. They explode in a toxic gas cloud that melts your stamina, drains your health, and fills your lungs with weaponized disease. Even after death, they still pose a threat thanks to this ability. These blobs of decay can also be found lying in fields or on the open roads, acting as a landmine, waiting for any unlucky survivors to run them over. Doing so will cause the cabin of your vehicle to be completely engulfed in fumes. You'll choke, black out, and probably crash before you realize what happened. The only safe way to kill them is a precise headshot which will cause their fumes to leak safely. If you hit anywhere else and you're too close, congratulations, you just inhaled aerosolized Black Fever. Then there's the Screamer. Probably the most overused idea in zombie fiction, but we still love them. Now, screamers don't pose an immediate threat in a direct fight by themselves, but if you leave them be, they can become one of the greatest threats in game. Due to their armless, no bottom jaw design, it's very possible the infection opted to mutate the lungs of the host, giving them the ability to scream at frequencies that rupture glass and shred eardrums. Their screams cause survivors to double over, covering their ears and in agony. Perfect timing for the horde that's already sprinting your way. So yeah, maybe it can't hurt you directly, but indirectly, it's a death sentence with lungs. Now we get to the real monsters, pharaohs. Crawling on all fours, twitching with rage, and faster than you can aim. Their hands have been mutated into claws, and their muscles have experienced exceptional growth, mutated for speed and agility, turning them into ambush hunters that can pounce, dodge bullets, and shrug off melee attacks. Even trying to run them over doesn't always work out. They quite literally dodge out of the way. One mistake, 1 second too slow, and they're already on top of you, tearing off the doors on your vehicle and ripping through your flesh like paper. If you see a pharaoh in real life, there's no fight, only a short scream before you're gone. Standing at 6 feet tall with a big bulky body but comically small head is the Juggernaut. These big bullies can be found roaming around in open areas due to their love of rushing to chin check or just straight up body slam survivors. Juggernauts are slow but can take unusual amounts of damage from explosives and gunfire. They also have a resistance to fire. No, seriously. Besides giving them a crispy makeover, fire literally does nothing to these things. If these monsters existed in real life, they wouldn't just break through walls. They'd erase entire neighborhoods. There's no base defense that stops a walking tank with anger issues. I'm sure there's at least one person watching right now who thinks they'll just wait for the infected to rot away. But you might want to rethink that. In just 18 months, the Black Fever was able to undergo mutation, evolving into what we know as the Blood Plague, a much more contagious version that upgrades those already harboring the Black Fever virus. The regular zombies will turn completely red, having their eyes glow a red color. The plague zombies will walk and stumble until they lock eyes onto a survivor. They will then charge at full speed, never walk, only needing one bite or even a scratch to infect you, with every touch further progressing the infection. The freaks will also have mutated with this blood plague, becoming more aggressive and contagious. Screamers gain the ability to spit their infected blood from their mouths, contaminating any place it touches. Plague juggernauts are much more aggressive, with every hit giving you blood plague. They can also slam their fist into the ground, leaving behind an infectious residue for any survivors who wander into its path. Bloaters are now upgraded into blood plague landmines, and the pharaohs have made themselves the alpha. Plague pharaohs have grown a protective shell over their heads that can absorb a decent amount of damage before becoming vulnerable. So no, waiting for the dead to decay isn't an option. They're not rotting away, they're upgrading. Every infection needs a heart, and this one took that literally. When 4 blood plague zombies gather together, they merge into a single pulsing mass of tissue, the plague heart. These things infest buildings, covering them in dark red mist and a tall red cloud. Survivors will often note a foul smell, the abundance of plague zombies, and the taste of blood in the air every time they enter the vicinity of a heart.
Ugh, the air tastes like blood soup.
It has no effect on players in the game, but in our world, being in plague territory with hearts would definitely infect us. The characters say out their own mouth that they can literally taste the infection. On the slightly brighter side, plague hearts aren't invulnerable. They can be destroyed by pretty much any means, with fire and guns being the best way to do it, obviously. But launching an attack on one is an entire different ball game. During an attack on the heart, it will call all nearby zombies to its location so they can deal with its attackers. And that kind of coordination means something terrifying. The plague is thinking. An even worse mutated version of a plague heart is a plague wall. These massive structures grow across roads, buildings, and entire city blocks. Thick, pulsating barriers made of muscle and bile. In the case of a plague wall, their heart is actually a bloater's belly with a protective shell, making it totally immune to typical damage. Their only weakness is a plague buster, a chemical explosive reverse engineered from the poison glands of a plague bloater. So unless you've got a chemist and the courage to dissect one of these walking bombs, you're screwed. But if you got lucky and somehow made it happen, you still have to attack it, and that comes with the same consequences of attacking a plague heart, except it's much more worse. I cannot stress enough the amount of infected these walls can summon once they are attacked. These walls will keep spreading until the entire world is one enormous infected organism. Now, in game, there is a cure. You can mix plague samples with some medical supplies and boom, instant salvation. But let's talk reality. Collecting viable tissue samples from infected bodies without destroying them would be practically impossible. You're burning plague hearts, blasting freaks with bullets, and straight up smashing the zombies to mush. I'm pretty sure that ruins any usable sample. And even if you somehow got the tissue intact, you still need sterilized lab equipment, a constant power supply, trained scientists, and months of controlled testing. The blood plague doesn't give you months, it gives you minutes to hours. And most survivors don't really have time to play lab rat when they're too busy not dying. Thanks to the tainted water sources, the military failing, and the freaks, a lot of us wouldn't live to see the black fever evolve into the blood plague. And you know what? I'd consider that a mercy. Because having to eventually deal with that on top of fighting other humans, the mutated freaks, plague hearts, walls, I think I'd opt out instead. Y'all really don't know how excited I am to play State of Decay 3. I really wish they would say something about it. You know, like how's it going? When can we really expect it? Is there any bad news? You know what I mean? Because the last time we heard anything, it was a very long time ago. But hey, what can you do? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like the video and consider subscribing. Comment below what other apocalypse you'd like me to do on the why you would or wouldn't be screwed. Until next time, keep watching the dark because it's definitely watching you.